I like to do when I'm cooking is get all my ingredients and lay them out on the counter. This helps me so that once I start cooking, I don't have to go back and forth between the fridge and the cabinets. I know everything I need is right there in front of me. Don't mind my messy spice cabinet. We did just move into this house and I have not come up with a way to organize that cabinet yet. So feel free to leave me your tips and tricks down below and maybe I can do an updated video organizing that cabinet. So you'll see me here looking at my Surface Pro. That's another tip or trick that I have is I use Pinterest to find a lot of my recipes, and so I like to pull it up on my laptop so it's enlarged and I can see the recipe right in front of me. It just makes it easier than just having it on my phone. Alright, now that we have all the ingredients out, here's what y'all are gonna need. So for this recipe, we're going to be setting our oven to 425. Now I'm just going ahead and cutting the aluminum foil that we're going to use to bake our shrimp and broccoli in. These are supposed to be roughly 14 by 12 inches. I definitely just eyeballed it and it ended up working for me. And then once you cut them, you're just going to set them aside for the next step. Now we're just going to go ahead and mix the spices that we're going to use to season the shrimp with. We're now going to go ahead and prepare our shrimp. You'll see that I used frozen shrimp because that's all I could find here on Guam. I kind of struggled to find anything fresh, but you can use whatever you can find at your local grocery store. But you'll see because I did use frozen and I didn't thaw it out as long as I should have, that you'll see me pick out some of the ice. You're then going to go ahead and use your seasoning and cover the entire shrimp. I tried to start by just sprinkling it over the top and ended up dumping the whole thing. Does anyone else happen to do this? I then found it was easiest to use my hands to coat the entire shrimp with that seasoning. There I am again pulling apart some of the frozen pieces. We're almost ready to start preparing our meal for the oven. The last step is just to chop that head of broccoli into florets. So that's what I'm doing here. I just went through and cut them up until I was satisfied with the size. Yay, we are officially ready to start preparing these things for the oven. So the first thing is just grabbing a baking sheet and those two pieces of the aluminum foil that we cut earlier and lie them evenly right next to each other. You're then going to use your shrimp and your broccoli that we prepared and you're going to lie them out evenly on the pieces of the foil. I'm now going ahead and sprinkling a tablespoon of garlic over each foil packet. I tried to sprinkle it directly out of the measuring spoon, but it just wouldn't come out, so I found using my hands was easiest. This also helped me to control where the garlic was going so I can make sure it was evenly put all over. It is also important to note that I used already minced garlic. We're garlic lovers in our house and we always keep a giant jar in hand, but you can use fresh garlic if you prefer. After the garlic, we're now going to add some lemon juice. The recipe calls for half a lemon, but I already had lemon juice on hand, so I just went ahead and used that. I used about a tablespoon per foil packet. We're now going to go ahead and season both foil packets with salt and pepper. The recipe doesn't call for a certain amount, so I just eyeballed it. I did a pinch of salt and sprinkled some pepper over the top. This is also where you would add the red pepper flakes if you so choose. Only a couple more steps until we pop these into the oven. Right here we are going to put a tablespoon of butter into each foil packet. I chopped it up into little tiny squares and then evenly placed them over the tops of each packet. Our final step before we fold these foil packets is going to be to add a tablespoon of chicken stock to each packet. You can also use vegetable stock if you have it, but I already had chicken stock in my fridge from a previous recipe. It is officially time to fold our foil packets. You have conquered all the hard parts. I just started by folding it in the center and then rolling it down on the ends. It is important to note not to wrap them too tight, otherwise you won't leave air in them to be able to steam the ingredients inside. Here I am just popping those into the oven, and then I'm going to go ahead and set a 15-minute timer. While those are in the oven, I'm also going to take this time to clean up my kitchen, putting any dishes in the dishwasher and wiping down all the cabinets. It just makes it easier, and then I don't have to do it after dinner. What I love about this meal is it doesn't take a lot of prep work, and it only takes 15 minutes in the oven to have a nice fresh cooked meal. Mine did take an extra 5 minutes, but that was only because the shrimp was kind of frozen still. But look at how amazing these look, and they are definitely healthy, filling, and husband approved. If you do end up making this recipe, leave me a comment below, tag me in your photos. I'd love to see, and follow along if you want more recipe videos. On this screen here, I've also gone ahead and put the ingredients you'll need to make this recipe. Feel free to screenshot it to make your grocery shopping a little bit easier.